Hey guys, Matt Donald here. People have said that I need to be more peppy for these intros. Like, if I'm really selling, Patreon stuff, I probably should, actually sell it, enthusiastically. So, okay, I guess you guys gotta get your wish. Subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/Matthew Donald. You're gonna get some quality stuff there, some very fun episodes. Every month we talk about pop culture featuring prehistoric animals, and this month I don't have the slightest idea what we're going to talk about because I haven't recorded it, but don't you worry your pretty little head. It'll live up to the exact standards of quality that you expect from a podcaster like Matthew Donald and his Patreon. Link is in the description for where you can sign up. Thank you for your support and have a fantabulous day. I'm gonna go drink some black coffee right now. Maybe some whiskey too.
Roar, growl, snarl, bellow.
Welcome to Paleobites, the podcast both cladistic and sadistic. My name is Matthew Donald. Each week, I and a rotating series of guest co-hosts talk about and rate a genus of prehistoric animal, be it dinosaur, mammal, arthropod, and so on. This week, I'm joined by the least sadistic person I've ever known. I don't know about that.
Aww.
It's Laura Owsley. How are you?
Hello, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. I mean, I'm not much of a sadist myself. I am a masochist.
Whatever y'all are up to, and when the lights go out, that's up to y'all.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that. Of course, everything's dirty. How should I should know it would just lead to that. You defile this straight talk with the. No, I'm not a prude. Go.
How dare we talk about these sorts of things?
I don't talk about the things that we just do as a species and as a life.
Right. This might be too much for your PG podcast.
Well, it's PG-13 more, so let's see.
All right. So when I first moved into my place, I've been here for about 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much first moved into this place, and I was chatting with my roommate, and he was talking about a specific part of the kink community.
Oh, yes.
And he was like, oh, but I don't have to tell you that. And I was like, not personally my thing, but, more power to you between consenting adults.
Right.
Like, live your best. But no. And he was like genuinely floored. And I was like, really?
That
but
you weren't part of this kink community?
Yeah. He was like, but like, you do theater and like you've worked in a restaurant and like, you like all of these different things.
What?
And I was like, I can't say that's part of, I guess.
You don't have to look at this. But in case you're curious.
Is this something you should be sharing?
It's my kinks.
Okay.
Let's like, I took a test on like how kinky I am. These are like the things that like, to be described as me.
Some coworkers and I all did this. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it's a nice thing, and this is why I work with my fiance. She's like the exact opposite.
Well, hey,
so
if it works for y'all, works for y'all.
Yeah.
I have a coworker who, so a bunch of us took that test. One of my coworkers literally came back with 100% vanilla.
I mean, look, I'm 64%, so that's...
Yeah, no, I'm like 70% vanilla, so like I can't really judge that much.
Dom,
but, like,
it's weird that I'm more of a dom. It's
yeah,
you wouldn't expect that from me, would you? No, girl, fiance total sub though. And by sub, I mean subscriber to my Patreon. Like, listeners don't like...
Beautiful transition.
So yeah, so we're talking about a creature. Well, I guess we'll go straight into it, I guess. Although, like, this creature, the swan is often regarded, at least in Greek mythology terms, as a very sexual sort of creature. So I guess it kind of fits.
Yeah?
Like, Zeus often turned into a swan, didn't he?
Well, Zeus would turn into anything to get laid.
And then screw anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, like...
Yeah, all the Greek gods were very pan. They were...
Yeah,
reminds me of work, because, like...
I'm a little concerned.
Guys, I work at a pet hotel.
Yeah, this is not helping.
So...
You might want to expand a little here.
Okay, so you know how dogs hump each other, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
it's not always based on sex. It's based on dominance. Although sometimes it is based on sex. And when I'm at the pet hotel, let me tell you, everyone's humping everyone. Like there's no.
I hope we're still talking about the animals.
Yes, we're talking about the animals.
Great.
The coworkers
Yeah,
and I, we keep our relationships professional. But
wanted to clarify real quick in case anybody else has a dirty mind.
yeah, the dogs are all. I mean, they're not all humping each other, but also doesn't matter. Like there's males on females, females on males, males on males, females on. It doesn't matter. Just
Yeah. Well, it's also, for dogs, it can mean a variety of different behaviors.
Well, all right. It's also like animal. I mean, homosexuality has been seen in many different species, including most famously probably penguins.
True. Love a gay penguin.
Yeah,
they're so cute.
They are so cute. They're somehow cuter than straight penguins.
That's true.
Although it is because it makes me sad because the dad penguin spends all winter on his egg, and there's no guarantee that the wife penguin comes back. Not that they ran away to find a new, better life and a new, better penguin farm. They just got eaten by orcas or something. So
shame.
There may be a chance where they're just waiting with the egg, and the female doesn't come back.
Yeah.
They just kind of have to eat the egg,
Rough.
or just let it die. Yeah, nature, baby. So speaking of another bird, is big and potentially flightless based on how big it is. I'm sure it could have. We're talking about. Cygnus falconeri, called such because Cygnus is actually still the scientific name of the modern-day swan. So this is so genetically close to modern-day swans that it still has the same genus name.
This thing is so wild because obviously I'm an expert.
Yes, you're an expert.
And I definitely did not just Google this 40 seconds before we started the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
They look like a modern swan.
They are.
Larger.
They are. They're so much larger. Although some of those pictures might be misleading in how larger they are because there's elephants next to them, aren't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So.
Yeah, I hope so. This is terrifying. The more I'm staring at this creature, I'm afraid of swans in general.
Yeah, the modern swans are scary.
They're not nice creatures for this, ooh, let's try that.
That is a hard word, reputable.
Reputation.
Yeah.
For their reputation as
do
being
they have teeth like geese do?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, I feel like geese are mean while swans are just assholes.
I feel like swans are just as mean. They're just
they
mean in a bitchy way.
Well, I know, but I feel like geese are more aggressive. I think swans are more passive aggressive.
That's fair. Yeah, I can see that.
So, anyway, so type it's an annotated group of birds, also known as waterfowl, that includes duck, geese, and swans. Blah blah blah. It's basically a swan.
Makes sense.
So, size 10 to 11.5 feet, so 3 to 3.5 meter wingspan.
Oh no.
35 to 40 pounds, 16 to 20 kilograms.
Shh. That ain't right.
Diet's omnivore, but mostly herbivorous. But who cares? It would still try and kill you.
Absolutely. If only for spite.
Yeah. Time mid-Pleistocene, 770,000 to 126,000 years ago.
Jeez.
So pretty close, too. No millions in here.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, location, Sicily and Malta.
Huh.
So, it's in the Mediterranean. Described in 1865. Pop culture appearances. Apparently was in a Looney Tunes short, Daffy Duck and the Dinosaur. I didn't believe this at first, but then I saw a screen cap of the short, and yeah, there's a giant swan in the background. So, good job, Looney Tunes.
Nailed it. Apparently Looney Tunes, that's where I'm going to go for all my scientific inquiries.
Well, okay, here's my question about Looney Tunes. I mean, everything else, bang on scientific accurate. But,
sure.
Daffy Duck. Sure. Have you ever seen a fully black duck? I've seen white ducks like Donald Duck, but I've never seen a black duck.
I mean, not in person, because I don't really go around looking at ducks, but on TikTok and stuff, yeah.
You've seen black ducks? Like fully black ducks?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe I'm just bound.
Yeah, I think they're a thing.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think they're have slightly different colorings in their feathers.
Yeah, but they're not just all pure black with a white thing around their neck.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's a
yellow
thing.
bill that gets shot off repeatedly.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, I'd imagine that the bill does not go all the way around their face.
No, it doesn't, or just like goes up like this.
Yeah.
I did see a clip of this one short from like the 50s where Daffy's just had enough and he's like goes to Elmerfeld like, shoot me again, I enjoy it. Just shoot me right now. Come on, I'm an elk. It's elk season. Why don't you shoot me? I'm a fiddler crab. It's fiddler crab season. Just shoot me.
Shoot me. Oof. I mean, look, we all go through some hard times here, but like that's a little.
He's like, I love the smell of gunpowder and carbide.
Look, Daffy,
Then he just walks off. Is like, what have I done to get to this point? In that moment, Daffy was the most relatable cartoon until Squidward came along.
Fair.
We all thought we were SpongeBob as kids, and then we all grew up to be Squidward.
Oh, I've been rewatching Bones.
Yeah.
If you ever watched that show.
I've never seen Bones, but I have seen SpongeBob.
Okay, so when I was a kid watching Bones, I always figured I would grow up to be Angela, who's like the fun, like she's super good at her job, but she's like kind of the party girl, and she's like super flirty, and like she's super fun and all that. I've realized that in my adult life, I have grown up to be Hodgins, who's the bug and slime guy who gets like way too into the gross aspects of his job and is just like will absolutely talk off the air of anybody who will listen about like his like couple of things that he cares a lot about. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, I thought I'd be like the cool fun person, right? And then I grew up to be the person who's like a little weird at parties.
You've seen New Girl, right?
Sure.
Okay, so I thought, when I was younger, I was more of a Winston. Now I'm definitely a Nick. I am so much a Nick Miller. Oh, all these sitcoms. All these the kid sitcoms I see clips of on TikTok too, and some of them have jokes that just go way over kids' heads.
Fair.
The one I thought was the funniest was like when someone was talking about their grades, just like throughout the semester, was like, how do you go from an A to a D? And the girl's like, it happened to me in 8th grade. And I'm like, wow, how'd you keep that in?
I mean, to be fair, that one's not too bad.
It's not too bad, but it's like, if you know what they're talking about, like...
It's just boobs, right? Like...
way to ruin the joke. Way to ruin the mystique of it in case listeners can figure it out.
So sorry.
Anyway, speaking of boobs, I guess, talk about this boob stuck, not squirrel. I mean, like, boob is in like the insult, like you're just a boob. Have you heard that? I don't know.
Speaking of childhood sitcoms, Drake and Josh.
And Josh, Looney Tunes,
referred to
SpongeBob, Bones. Speaking of Bones, there we go. We're talking about this.
Hey, there we go. Took us a few tries, but we got there.
Okay, so swans, they're terrifying, right? Oh, they're so majestic, and then even though the ugly duckling was ugly as a duckling, that's okay because it eventually became a beautiful swan, right?
Right. And that's the only reason why it's okay to be ugly as a duckling.
Because eventually you'll be beautiful.
Yeah. That's the moral of that story.
Yeah, it's like, swans are the worst. But swan started charging towards me with its wings held out and its beak open, exposing those terrifying throat teeth they have. I would just cross myself and accept my fate.
Do swans have throat teeth?
Well, that's what I'm talking about with like the geese thing. It's like,
oh, yeah, fair.
Although, look, they do have something in the back that, like, I've seen this with my cockatiel. Well, not my current one, the one I had before. And apparently, this is what they have. He was holding his beak open, like at one point, just like kind of be a little aggressive. To the point where I could see right through his mouth, and I could see the back of his lips. And they don't have teeth. He had what looked like a buzzsaw, and kind of looked like those vagina dentielle, like a vagina with teeth. That's what it looked like in the back of their throat.
Well, someone get Daniel Radcliffe on it. I'm sure he'll make a movie about it.
Swiss Army Man 2, the Swiss Army Woman.
Right. Wasn't Daniel Radcliffe in Teeth?
He was? Was he in Teeth? I don't know. The one with the vagina, too.
Yeah, the vagina.
He might have been. One of those weird
I
movies
could be...
Maybe it was Ron, Rupert Grint.
He's too busy running his ice cream truck.
That's true. God, I love what the Harry Potter kids have done. They haven't gone crazy like American kid stars. Because like Daniel Radcliffe is like, I've made my money, and so I'm just going to do whatever weird projects I want.
Yeah.
Rupert Grint's kind of the same, except he doesn't even do movies. He
just kind of does whatever the hell he wants.
Emma Watson has kind of kept, going in the starlight, but that's her choice. And
that's her choice, and she, has like actively chosen roles that she enjoys or wants to do, right?
Because once you get that money, you can do whatever you want. So
yeah.
So
Why not be
and
Belle?
they've all spoken against J.K. Rowling, so good on them. So
Right? I was gonna say, like, and they're
as
all
opposed to was the witch girl's name, the one who kills Sirius. What's her name? The one who was with Tim Burton all the time. Lady Helena Bonham Carter.
Yes.
Yeah, she's like, we're supposed to be nicer to J.K. Rowling. No.
No. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Anyways,
here's the thing.
yes.
I think that people think that swans are nicer than geese.
They're not.
And they're not.
No.
They're horribly
Ducks
mean.
are the nicest out of all of them, and even ducks aren't that nice.
Yeah. And ducks are only nice because they don't have brain cells.
Yeah. When you look at a bird like a duck or like a seagull, you look into their eyes, they're either thinking nothing or violence.
Yeah.
Just
I'm pretty sure all birds just think violent. Well, of course, birds aren't real.
Yes, that's true. Government drones. So
Sure.
Depends on what mode they're programming.
Right. But like, they're all mean, right? Like,
I mean, my bird's very mean.
I was gonna say,
my
like,
bird has an attitude.
Yeah. Also, doesn't your bird hate your fiance?
Yes.
Yeah.
She hates him so much.
Yeah.
But she's to the point where she loves other people. Like when she loves my friend, but she's been more and more kind to Cece. She's like, I like this one, but because this one's not a threat.
This one's not trying to steal my man.
Right. Speaking of mean birds.
Casual.
So,
Big Bird. No, that's not where you were going?
No, and he's not Mean Bird.
I feel like when the cameras are off, Big Bird is secretly a diva.
Look, he could improve the Sesame Street neighborhood enough to give the Grouch a reasonable place to live.
Yeah.
So, but I guess he likes living in the trash.
He chooses not to.
Yeah. I'd see a funny thing where it was like, someone was talking about like, this is our first autistic puppet. And it's like, really? First? You have a guy who literally counts everything.
That's great. That's great.
So, but anyway, so how about a swan that's so big that it towered over the elephants that it lived with? Sounds like pure fantasy, right? And yet that's the case with Cygnus falconeri, the giant swan of the Ice Age. It sounds more terrifying than any dinosaur I can think of.
Yeah.
I'd rather deal with a T-Rex than this thing. And when I say towered over elephants, I'm not exaggerating or using hyperbole. It did. Now, granted, the elephants towered over where the dwarf elephants did, the island.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Paleoloxodon. But it does mean that if you look at the picture of this thing, it looks way bigger than it actually is, due to being drawn alongside these dwarf elephants and warping the sense of scale.
Yeah. That's definitely very misleading. So it is also then compared to like the height of an average human.
Right.
And like, don't get me wrong, still terrifyingly large, just going up to like chest level.
Now, this thing could probably look you in the eye if it stretched its head on up.
Yeah.
Particularly you're a short person.
Wow.
Sorry, I don't know where that came out of nowhere. I apologize.
Yeah, no, I'm very offended, actually. Get out of my roommate's house.
It's not even your house. You can't even claim it yourself. It's like, it's my roommate's house. I'm just, I crash here forever.
Right. I just pay rent here.
Anyways, so this is a classic case of island dwarfism and island gigantism. There are two separate things. They don't usually happen on the same island, but they do. So
interesting.
So
you said, sorry, where again? Sicily and
Malta. These little islands.
Malta, yeah.
Where, like
that's so interesting.
So what happened is when a creature is introduced to a new island, if it's a bigger creature and has limited resources in the island, it usually evolves to get smaller, so it can better use those resources. That's why it happened with the elephants. But then, if a creature is introduced to a new island and there's no competition,
right,
it can get bigger. So it depends on how big the original creature is and how big the island is, and other deciding factors. But island gigantism and island dwarfism are two things that have happened, and it's weird that it happened on the same island here.
With two creatures that now are very different sizes.
They are.
Right? Like, an elephant is typically quite a bit larger than a swan. I'm not going to try to make a guess at the average elephant
Let's say
height.
it's at least 3 times larger than a swan.
I think 3 is a very safe without going over. Price is Right rules,
2
guys.
to 3 times bigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, so also some scientists speculate that this giant swan was too heavy to fly. I don't know if that's better or worse. Because, like, in terms of dealing with it. Because, like, on one hand, it's better because it won't pick you up and carry you into the sky. On the other hand, it's worse because then you're stuck with it on the ground. So,
Yeah, no, I feel like penguins are probably the, like, only flightless bird that I feel like is pretty chill.
yeah, even chickens, I would want to be chill with. Like, all the wild chickens
Chill.
fly.
Because they're penguins.
I make that joke all the time.
But also,
I
like...
can't believe I didn't get that one there.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I need the appreciation.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Or, but, like, that's what I needed. Thank you.
Speaking
So,
of
like-
kinks, you need praise right now.
Oh, God. So, chickens, right? Like,
Yes.
I have had pretty good experiences with chickens, and particularly when I was a kid, we had a rooster
Yes.
who was actually like the sweetest, kindest bird in the world.
Nice.
And like loved to snuggle and would eat rubber bands and poop out solid rubber bands. He
Cool.
was very cute.
Yeah.
That's not the reputation that they get, right? Like most roosters are so mean, and like chickens can be assholes,
Absolutely.
right?
They can be.
So like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that like it only furthered angered this swan that they were not able to fly.
Well, they could have, maybe. We don't know. It's a theory that might not have been available. We just don't know. 40 pounds is about the maximum a flying bird can get
Fair.
based on their muscle structure. This giant swan, so its extinction apparently had nothing to do with humans. As it went extinct long before humans could arrive on this island, because of the time humans were around at this time, early humans, but we did not have seafaring yet, so we couldn't have gotten to this island.
Fair. Did it have anything to do with the dwarf elephants?
Yeah, they fought to death.
I knew it.
Actually, what happened was due to extreme climate fluctuations that happened around this time. That killed them, which not only killed most of them off, but brought in predators and other animals that can more easily compete with them. And thus, the giant swan was finally brought to rest, and dare I say, good riddance.
See, I don't know. I think this would be like a really fun. So you know how at the Denver Zoo,
Yes.
they let the peacocks just do their thing,
Yes.
right? They're just allowed to go do their own thing.
And they're like, hey, we have Jurassic Park technology, and we could use a lawsuit. Well, let's throw in a Cygnus falconeri and
Right.
let it loose among the guests.
Imagine this thing. So I've seen
Make a hell of a TikTok.
So the most recent time that I went to the Denver Zoo,
Yes.
there was a dad egging on his young son
To fight a peacock.
to fight the geese.
Did he hate his son?
Apparently, like, was
He's like,
egging
I can't get rid of this thing legally, so what if I just make it get killed by geese and make it look like an
very
accident?
late term abortion.
Yeah.
It was just this thing that was like, what are you doing? Like, this child is going to get bit and hurt badly.
Yeah.
And then you're going to complain to the zoo, and the zoo is going to say,
You egged it
that's
on.
your fault. Like, you're not going to get, like, some crazy settlement. Like, but yeah, no, peacocks, mean.
Yeah.
Geese, mean.
Peacocks are
This
kind
thing
of nice.
would be
No, they're
really fun to have wandering around a zoo.
As long as I'm not in the zoo, it'd be fun to watch other people have to do it.
See, I feel like as long as you, like, keep your distance,
Yeah.
right, it'd be really fun to see people try to fight.
Swans
and die.
One thing they're really good for is hugs. Have you seen the way they curl their necks around someone when they're hugging someone?
No, that's adorable.
Yeah, like when they are nice, they're so sweet. The way like they hug humans, but like they lean in, they curl their neck around.
Aw.
So imagine this, like all the pictures, like because you can stand upright with this. Like, look at me and the swan. Like,
right. Admittedly, I don't know what like domesticated swans are like, but non-domesticated swans, like the swans at the park, assholes.
Yes, of course.
Right. So maybe like if you have a pet swan, maybe your pet swan is the like golden child in the exception
golden
to the
goose?
rule. The golden goose. Oh my gosh. Somebody called Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yes, of course. All right, let's rate the golden mother swan goose. Not mother in the kink way. 65. Sorry, I got kinks in the brain at this episode, at least. It's a running joke on this episode.
Yeah, apparently. Like.
All right, so it's rated on 65 million. I'm gonna rate it 2 million because
this thing.
Yeah, this thing.
See, I kind of like it, right? I'm gonna rate it 12 dwarf elephants.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, that's about the same weight as like. Actually, no, these dwarf elephants are probably at least These probably were 3 to 4 times bigger than like in terms of weight. They're probably like 120 or 200 some pounds.
Wow.
So like, yeah, I don't know, man.
I think that's a pretty fair scale.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. 12 of them
12 of them,
on a big kebab.
Yeah.
So they could feed them. Yeah.
casual.
Yeah. Little trunk squirming. What's wrong with me?
Yeah, that's this got real dark.
Yeah. Trumpeting. The trumpet is starting to die
Trumpeter
off.
Swan.
Trump. Oh, I was talking about the elephants, but that's why they're both there. Imagine the trumpeting that's going on that island.
I can't have a jazz band in the middle of Sicily.
Yeah, it's like just constant trumpeting there. Sounds horrible.
Oh, too much.
It's like, when my friend Matt Seibert, like, he made me listen to hours and hours of barbershop quartet music, and I'm like, this is torture, Matt. This is legally torture. Like, I could report you to the government for this.
So then, imagine if it were not a barbershop quartet, but instead just a bunch of swans with trumpets.
A bunch of swans and a bunch of dwarf elephants, just all trumpeting on their way. Anyways, that's it for this week. If you want to get a hold of the show, you can contact me at paleobitespod@gmail.com, Paleobites Podcast on Twitter, and a Paleobites Pod on Instagram. Where can they find you?
Hello. So I am on basically almost every form of social media under @ThespianLaura.
Yes.
ThespianLaura.
Yes. You're on the Facebook. You're on the Instagram. You're on the X, speaking of.
Right. I mean, after this conversation, I might get on Threads. Who knows?
Yeah. There's one called Mastodon I should get on just for the sake of the show.
Sounds great. What is it?
It's basically like a mix between Twitter and Discord.
That sounds terrible, actually.
Yeah,
Never
it does
mind.
sound terrible. And then there's Truth Social, obviously the best one, right?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, I should get on that Republican conspiracy theories form of social media.
Yeah. Then make up something and make them really mad.
Oh, I already
Breathing is woke. They don't threaten people's existence. They don't, not anti-science at all.
They don't cyberbully grieving people.
They don't call everything woke. They don't say they are against child trafficking while also being complicit in child trafficking. Buying tickets to see Sound of Freedom, whatever that movie is.
No, right. She's doing surprisingly well.
It's because they're buying.
Yeah.
I mean, look, some of it are actually people going to see it, but a lot of it's astroturfing. So,
which is, anyways, continue.
That's it for this week. Say at the end of our episode of Paleo Bites.
I don't know. I was going to try to do like a trumpeter.
That's how it sounds on Truth Social.
I can't make a trumpet noise. Like a... I don't know.
That was pretty good.
Yeah?
I don't know how that
was pretty good.
Okay. All right, cool. Anyways, bye.